Good morning, everyone. Before we get started today, I wanted to ask you to support one of our affiliate partners, CHOQ, C-H-O-Q. This company uses the finest organic, non-GMO ingredients in their products. Our featured product today is CHOQ Lit Powder. I use it every morning in my coffee, making it the most nutritious coffee mocha on the planet. It's delicious. Absolutely delicious. To find out more, click the link below. They have sales all the time, so hurry and get yours today. Thank you. And now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Hey, good morning, everyone. I hope you had a wonderful night's sleep. I sure did. Got to spend some time with my son yesterday. Great man. Really great man. Today, it's going to be an interesting story today. There's a lot of stuff going on here, and I want to share with you an interesting story that happened while I was reading through the scriptures. As I was reading, I was noticing that at this time, God was appearing to people a lot. He was appearing to people many times. It seems, anyway. Of course, everything's condensed in the Bible. It's hard to tell how many years is actually spanning between the visits from God. But when he does, he seems to appear to people in ways that they can recognize him and see him and have conversation with him. And that when they're having these conversations, they actually know that it is an angel of God or God himself. So when I was asking the question about that, I thought it was kind of interesting. And I was wondering, will there ever be a time when I, in this physical world, be able to see God? And about that time, crawling up from the end of my Bible was this teeny weeny tiny little spider. And he came up and he just started walking across the Bible. Now, my Bible had been sitting on my desk, zipped up, all covered. I unzipped it. I opened it up here on my desk. And I start reading, and I pose that question, and this little teeny weeny tiny spider starts walking across my Bible. God appears to us in so many ways. And and seeing that spider just brought me to the awareness that God appears to me everywhere and speaks to me everywhere. Now, maybe sometimes not in the way that I would like. I mean, I would like, I like to think that it would increase my faith more if this light being, actually appeared to me, and though it's happened in the past, that would be kind of cool, And then, of course, once you see that, your whole world is turned upside down, and your faith is undeniable after that. And, and that reminds me of a similar experience that I had. That was absolutely life-changing for me, and I'll share that with you sometime. But it gave me an experience where I know beyond any reasonable doubt that God exists and there is more to life than what is here. So, swirl that in your noodle for a little bit. But today, we are going to go deeper into the book of Genesis, and we're going to talk about this situation that occurred between Sarah and her maidservant and Abram. Yeah. Some stuff going on now. So, starting in chapter 16, we see that, Sarah, there was apparently this promise that God gave Abraham that he was going to be king and be this great guy. Okay. Now, before the backstory behind this, the King Sodom and King Gomorrah from Gomorrah, captured Lot, who was Abram's brother, cousin, something like that. Anyway, they had this war, right? And this is where we first hear the account of the high priest Melchizedek. And Melchizedek, came after the war and blessed Abram, and Abram gave him 1/10 of the spoils. So, which was kind of cool. And, so we go on here, but then in chapter 16, see, Sarah, Abram's wife, had borne him no children all the way up until this point. And she had an Egyptian maidservant. I'm reading now that I have my magic glasses on so that I can see the word of God more clearly. She had a maidservant whose name was Hagar. So Sarah said to Abram, "See, now the Lord has restrained me from bearing children. I can't have kids now. And I haven't had for many, many, many years." And they were pretty old at this point in time. "He has restrained me from bearing children. Please go into my maid. Perhaps I shall obtain children by her." Look at that. She found a surrogate mother. Well, that's pretty cool. She was nice and convenient. Here, take care of this. Do this. Now, she was an Egyptian woman, so she was probably pretty hot. Yeah. Yep. So, and thou shalt obtain. And so Abram heeded the voice of Sarah. Then Sarah, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. After Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan. So he went into Hagar, and she conceived. Yeah. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress became despised in her eyes. You see that? Oh, yeah. I know, I gave him to you so you could conceive, but now I hate you because you conceived. Imagine all the names and words that were flying around there. Then Sarah said to Abram, "My wrong be upon you. It's all your fault that I gave her to you, and you did what I asked you to do. And now I'm mad at you." Who hasn't heard that before? Hey, I got my friend. I want her to come over. All right, guys, stop. Because it doesn't end well. Oh, so Sarah said to Abram, "My wrong be upon you. I gave my maid into your embrace, and when she saw that she had conceived, I became despised in her eyes. The Lord judge between you and me." So Abram said to Sarah, "Indeed, your maid is in your hand. Do to her as you please." He's like, I don't care. Had my fun. It was awesome. So, yes. Let's see. Well, do with her as you please. And when Sarah dealt harshly with her, she fled from her presence. Must have treated her pretty bad to make her run away, pregnant and all. Now the angel of the Lord found her by a spring of water in the wilderness, by the spring on her way to Shur. Are you sure? That's what it looks like. Sure. Interesting, though. What drew her attention? You think God had his eye on Abram all this time? Kind of looking out like Big Brother, saying, "Hey, you know what's going on here? What drew the attention? Why was this so concerning to God that he sent an angel of the Lord?" She must be pretty important, do you think? Or maybe important to the mission that God has planned here? Maybe. Now the angel of the Lord found her by a spring of water in the wilderness, by the spring on her way to Shur. And he said, "Hagar, Sarah's maid, where have you come from? Where are you going?" And she said, "I am fleeing from the presence of my mistress Sarai." Sarai? Sarah? Sarai? We'll call her Sarah. So the angel of the Lord said to her, "Return to your mistress and submit yourself under her hand. Let her hit you. Let her treat you all those ways." Then the angel of the Lord said to her, "I will multiply your descendants exceedingly, so that they shall not be counted for multitude." And the angel of the Lord said to her, "Behold, you are with child, and you bear a son. You shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord has heard your affliction. He shall be a wild man." And one of the scriptures has said he's going to be a wild ass man. He's going to be wild, man. He's going to be like he's going to be like a cowboy. Yep, cowboys do as cowboys do. That's right. But he's going to be a wild man. His hand shall be against every man. He's going to be a fighter. Oh, yeah. You're not going to be able to take me, man. If you say anything about my mom, I'll punch you right in the face. But every man's hand will be against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all of his brethren. So he's going to have a lot of friends. Even though he's a wild man, people are going to respect him. Yeah, he's going to stand up for his buddies. Pretty cool, you know. You think about the character of a man like that. We'll see how it turns in later. Then she called the name of the Lord who spoke to her. "You are the God who sees." For she said, "I have also here seen him who sees me." So this was a real guy. This is a real person. She was actually seeing a person. Therefore, the well is called Bir-Lahai Roy. Bir-Lahai. I mean, that's it. Bir-Lahai Roy. Observe it to be between Kadesh and Bered. Mhm. So Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram named his son, whom Hagar bore, Ishmael. Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore Ishmael to Abram. 86. He was an old guy. In our terms, he ends up being a lot older and having more children. But this is an interesting story here, because you see that, Sarah was treating her maidservant really bad, and she was really upset about the whole situation. She thought she would feel good about it, but then in the end, she didn't feel good about it at all. You see, she resented that. She kind of felt jealous. What's jealousy do? It separates you from God. You see, Sarah couldn't wait. She didn't have the patience to do that, so she kind of forced the issue, saying, hey, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should not have done that. See? So now my husband has been with this other woman, and now she's got a child, so now he's permanently connected to her, and now, things are going to be awkward in our home now. Well, as we go on, we find that in chapter 17 that Abram was 99 years old. When Abram was 99 years old, so he was 86, so now he's 99. He's 100 years old. And the Lord appeared to Abram and said to him, I am Almighty God. Walk before me and be blameless. It's another time that God is appearing and he's talking. And be blameless. And I will make my covenant between me and you will multiply and I will multiply you. No, hold on. And I will make my covenant between me and you, and will multiply you exceedingly. Okay, sorry. And will multiply you exceedingly. Then Abraham fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with you, and you shall be a father of many nations. No longer shall your name be called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham, for I have made you a father of many nations. Pretty cool, huh? So, he's had his first child, Ishmael, with Abram, or with Hagar, and his wife is kind of upset about it. Okay. Wives, I can understand it. Okay. And then God comes back to him when Abram is 99 years old and says that, okay, now you're going to have even more children. What? I will make you exceedingly fruitful, God says, and I will make nations of you, and kings shall come from you. Wow. And I will establish my covenant between me and you and your descendants after you in their generations for an everlasting covenant to be God to you and your descendants after you. Also, I give to you and your descendants after you the land in which you are a stranger, all the land of Canaan, as an everlasting possession. and I will be their God. Interesting, isn't it? You know, you and the reason why we're going through this is so that we can more clearly understand what's happening in the mind of God. What is he thinking? Why is he doing these things that he's doing? Why is he appearing to these specific people? Or why are we hearing the stories that these specific people have? You know, I know that our knowledge about this is confined within the bindings of this Bible here. And there's so much more that is out there that we can understand this a little bit better. But as we're being shown here, we see that God is merciful, and he takes care of people he cares about. And we're trying to understand, well, why does he care about these people different than others? Why is he picking these specific individuals? Why are these actors part of the play? Perhaps like like my wife tells me when I'm yelling at the TV, why are they doing that? That's stupid. I will say, because then it wouldn't make the story interesting. All right. So, as we're reading the scriptures here, we're seeing that, God is establishing this ability, and he's blessing this particular people and all of his descendants, everybody, that he's going to be taking care of. Oh, here's an interesting part too. As we go along here, when God said to Abraham, and my covenant is between you and your descendants after you throughout their generations, and my covenant which you shall keep between me and you and your descendants after you, here it is. Every male child among you shall be circumcised, and you shall be circumcised in the flesh of your foreskins. And it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and you. He who is 8 days old among you shall be circumcised, every male child in your generations. He who is born in your house or bought with money from any stranger who is not your descendant. He who is born in your house and he who is bought with your money must be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And the uncircumcised male child, who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, that person shall be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. And God said to Abram, as for Sarah, your wife, you shall not call her name Sarai, but Sarah. Here we go. Now we say her name. Shall be her name. And I will bless her, and also give you a son by her. Then I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of many nations. Kings of people shall be from her. But, of course, Abram fell on his face and laughed and said, are you kidding me, man? Have you seen it? She's almost 100 years old. Are you sure? I mean, can I go back to the Egyptian woman? I mean, she was pretty cool. She was, in her 50s, not 100. I'm not saying this. Abraham is. He laughed. He fell on his face and laughed. and said in his heart, shall a child be born to a man who is 100 years old? And shall Sarah, who is 90 years old, bear a child? He's like, where's the camera at? All right, Ashton Kutcher is going to be jumping out here and saying, you've been punked. Or Alan Funk is going to be coming out, you're on candid camera. Everyone's like, well, are you kidding me? And God's like, come on, man. I'm trying to be serious here. I'm trying to give you a blessing and you're laughing at me. Why, I oughta. Oh. And Abram said to God, oh, that Ishmael might live before you. And God said, no, Sarah your wife shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with the descendants after him. As for Ishmael, I have heard you. Behold, I have blessed him, and I will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. He shall beget 12 princes, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will be established with Isaac, whom Sarah shall bear to you at this set time next year. So, this is a pretty interesting dynamic here, isn't there? We have this older woman that wants to have a child with her husband, and so she figures, hey, I just can't have children, so I'm going to get a surrogate and let my husband have sex with her so that she conceives, and everything will be cool. But when it happens, it's like, oh man, I hate this. This is awful. Jeez. And then she takes it out on her maidservant, and her maidservant says, okay, all of this thing going on here. But we find out that it seems to be all part of the plan. But God's like, okay, yeah, well, that happened. If you guys had this big old issue with it, I didn't have a problem with it. I think it's okay. You guys did the best you could with what you had, so I don't have a big deal. Doesn't bother me any, because the blessings are going to go ahead and continue. But for some reason, he likes Abram. Likes Abraham a lot. So he blesses him and makes this covenant with him, so that he can create many nations, and they can flourish. So the moral of this story, or the lesson of this story, is that, understanding the mind of God, we see that he doesn't really pay much attention to all that BS that is happening between who he considers good guys and everybody else. He appears to these people and makes these covenants with these people because for some reason they show favor for him or with him. And when we go back to the creation story in Genesis, we get the idea that we're here playing a game and enjoying things anyway. And there are times when God says, hey, I have all these gifts that I'm going to give you so you can play the game even better. Yeah. Perhaps, I woke up with this song on my mind this morning, and it is a song, it's a country song. It's really, really nice, by Paul Overstreet. seeing my Father in me. And perhaps this is what God is observing when he shows favor to these particular people. And the chorus goes like this. I'm seeing my Father in me. I guess it's how it's got to be. And I'm more and more like him each day. I notice I walk the way he walks. I notice I talk the way he talks. I'm starting to see my Father in me. Isn't that cool? It's all about our relationship with God. So maybe sometime we can look in the looking glass and we can see the Lord staring back at us. Or at least aspects. Okay? Well, that was a nice story. The visitation that I got from God today was inspiration for that. And appreciate you being here. Please swirl that around in your noodle for a while. Take a good look at the scriptures too. It's pretty interesting. And please share, like, and subscribe. And until we meet again, I wish you well. Hey, before you go, I wanted to remind you to click the link below to try chocolate powder. It's full of vital nutrients that'll help jumpstart your day. They have sales all the time, so hurry and get yours today. Thanks.